working? Buddy. There's a lot of noise coming from that end. I can hardly hear you on the intercom. But what you do is try to fix the TV from that angle, please. It's not active there. The HDMI is not coming active. Active? Thank you. Buddy, please help me mute this. No. Yes, I know. That's what I'm saying. And he has another thing to do after this. Please, calm down, we go. Ready. Send me the link. No problem. Thank you very much to all our viewers, those in the country and those that are in diaspora, those at work and those that are at home right now. We do welcome you for another episode of the Fixo at Teledal, streaming live at Bruce Phase 1. Today in the studio, we've got very well-known people in the industry of insurance, and of course, we'll be talking about risk and risk mitigation and risk management. They are in the country, and we, of course, leverage on the opportunity to bring them to your doorstep to discuss issues of definitely of interest to every individual. I am your host, Mohamed Jallo, on another episode like we always do here every Friday, discussing issues of national development, coming up with solutions, and this is definitely going to be a solution-oriented show tonight. And the guest we have in our studio will be introduced shortly, right after this break.
You can now turn your loyalty points into data or voice bundles. Simply dial *772#, press 1 to check how many points you've got, press 2 to redeem those points. Recharge on AfriCell, buy credit on AfriMoney, buy cash power. Lord Efrek, you get points. Even when you redeem, your total points still stack up, giving you a chance to win one of 2 luxury AfriCell villas. AfriCell, 25 years of rewarding loyalty, and we're just getting started.
Thank you very much to all our audience, those that are following us online, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and obviously on some of the links that have been shared on WhatsApp. Today in the studio, we'll be discussing the future of insurance, risk management, and economic resilience in West Africa. Of course, I said it in the beginning, I am your host, Mohamed Jallo, and I will start the introduction of my guest on my left-hand side here. I've got Dr. Bintu Job Sanyang. Dr. Bintu Job Sanyang is also a Gambian, of course, operating coming from another land, which is the United Kingdom and other parts of Africa, and part of the consulting team as an underwriting manager of Seaward Consulting. And on my left-hand side, I've got the CEO of the institution, of course, a Gambian as well, Reverend Michael Winston Kuti George. Kuti George is a household name in the Gambia as well. He is now based in other parts of Africa, which is Sierra Leone, and maybe in other countries like Nigeria and Ghana, but currently in the UK as well. So we do look forward to hearing from these people in the studios today. Gentlemen and lady, I do welcome you to Teledal, and this is the Fix Show. I'll start with, of course, Reverend Kuti George as the CEO of Seaward. What is Seaward, and what do you guys do for the world in general?
Thank you very much, Adia Muhammad Jallo, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here. Thank you very much, Gambia, and for bringing us, training us, and developing us. When we were at that tender stage, we grew up in the Gambia as insurance practitioners. Seaward Consultancy is basically involved in 3 dimensions, and one of them is insurance. The other one is reinsurance broking. And we do risk advisory and claims management services. What we bring to the table is years of experience in the insurance industry. We bring professionalism, people who have spent well over 23 years in the insurance industry, people who are qualified, people who are chartered insurance practitioners, and people who have experienced, people who have worked in the UK, in the Lloyd's market, who have done broking, who have done insurance, who have done reinsurance. And we also bring the legal arena also to our consulting. And also we bring risk management to our consulting, because we find out that a lot of people can't identify risk, they cannot analyze it, and they cannot also control it. So we as professionals, we try our best to bring that professional touch to every aspect of your business in this world and also in the economy that we live in.
Thank you very much, Reverend Kuti George. I believe what you said there could actually help. I'll come back to you in a moment. Dr. Binti Job Sanyang, a Gambian, of course, not only being an entrepreneur, an insurer, underwriter, management in the diaspora, of course, relaying back home, what do you intend to bring back to the Gambians as far as your portfolio is concerned?
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name is Dr. Binti Job Sanyang. I'm a risk scientist, and I work with Seaward. Thank you so much for having me on this show. What an opportunity to be here. Looking at it from that angle, we are looking at strengthening our regulatory framework, giving recommendations, and then looking at more innovative products within the market. We're looking at exploring deeper into more technologies in terms of how insurance has been underwritten and how it has been previously. So we are trying to do more of a reconciliation between us and our policy holders. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Job Sanyang. CEO, our show is proudly sponsored by AfriCell, and we are proud to have you here, Seaward, of course, Consulting. Now, you coming from Africa, you coming from West Africa, precisely Gambia. Reverend, you also are connected to some other African countries like Nigeria and Sierra Leone. What would you tell people that don't believe in insurance?
Well, I think you need to start to look into the benefits of insurance, and also the reasons why poverty is also existing is because people don't insure. If you look at the health sector, for instance, people use a lot of their what they call out-of-pocket money to finance health. Some of the monies that we should have used to do other things. When your relative is sick, for instance, everybody will have to gather around the sometimes you don't even have the money to finance until the person is late. So most of the time when there is fire disaster, monies that we should have used to do other things in our factories, we should have developed other businesses. When the factory is burnt down, people will actually lose their employment, and the factory owner will be days without income, and there are other charges which he or she will be paying. All of these are what insurance they look at it and say, no, we want you to transfer the financial burden to us. So the reason why the economy is still not growing is because people are not insuring. And when you have economic activity, you're not ensuring there is disaster, who would then finance it? So insurance is there to provide security. Insurance is there to provide that stability in terms of your claims, in terms of your risk, and say, okay, you would go on and on and on, but if you eventually run into this, we are here for you. We will take all the burden. So whilst you are sleeping, we are not sleeping. So insurance provide that kind of guarantee that will say, okay, I feel comfortable, let me sleep. Peace of mind cannot be evaluated. What is the cost of peace of mind? When you don't have it, then you will know the cost of it. So that is what insurance provides. Also, when there is disaster, we now put you back into the same position where you were just before the loss. So if you're not insured, then you will not be in a position to get all these benefits. There are others anyway.
Thank you. I believe that as well. Dr. Job, I'm looking at the people that, I'm just telling him, to people that don't believe in insurance. Now, if you were to talk to insurance companies in one cluster and give them advice of what they should do to get of course, the interest of the general public to insure with them, some of the things that insurance companies are accused of is claim payment processes and times. What would be your advice to the industry?
Oh, thank you. What a brilliant question there is. Insurance actually is to provide comfort. We are actually apologizing if there are instances where our policyholders or our insured don't feel that comfort during the time they need us the most. At this moment, like I've mentioned, just to reiterate back again, we are looking at reconciling back again, looking at strengthening our regulatory framework and our legislative frameworks as well, looking at more management development in terms of how our capacity building is, strengthening more institutional capacity, making sure that we are tailoring our service and products to the needs of our customers. Metaphorically, this evening we are trying more engaging our customers, knowing that we are here for them. If there has been any sort of previous engagement that really sort of make them to be distant from insurance, not trusting us, we are here back again, making sure that all those mistakes were learned properly in providing more tailored solutions in the future. Thank you.
Well, I heard you, and I heard you quite well. You're trying to create the comfort, Reverend. It's Gambia.
Yes.
The country composed of, now we're talking at 3 million people or thereabout.
Yeah.
I don't have the right figures, but the truth of the matter is the executive level of this country, which are the politicians running the country, their assets are not insured.
Okay.
Their buildings are not, the offices are not insured. In fact, the cars they drive are not insured. So I know that we've discussed this at some point, but I'm just looking at how best could we tell these people that yes, insurance is there, but you are not operating locally, but you also got the back of those insurance companies by being their broker at the reinsurance level. Just to talk about create that comfort is indirect marketing the product for people to understand that let them not be scared to insure with local insurance because they have reinsurance.
Yes, I think I have been in this country for a very long time. I've worked with Great Alliance Insurance Institute and insurance company. and she has worked with the IIC. We have seen claims, we have seen situation where we have paid claims. The problem is that we as insurers, we don't advertise. We don't put our figures on the newspaper because maybe it will be unethical sometimes to expose some of our clients because of regulation on that. But we have seen situation where flooding, for instance, I take many years ago, the Kayaba Hotel, for instance, when there was a flooding, we paid up to 3 million Gambian dollars back in the days. We were with the clients. We made sure that we did everything that was possible. From the day the claim happened, we visited them. We invited engineers to come in to service to see. We planned with them. We were all the way. We contacted our reinsurers. So if you really want to know what the market is doing, you can also check the regulator. The claims figures are there. I have seen them myself, and I've asked for the claim statistics over the years. They are paying claims, and so it's left with the government to also make insurance affordable. Also, they would also put it into law and say, if you don't insure,
mandatory.
Yes, make it mandatory. In Sierra Leone, we have the Insurance Act of 2016, which makes certain type of insurance mandatory. So if that is the case, for instance, they say all government properties must be insured against fire. And that has been taken from the Nigerian Act as well. So if also the Insurance Act of 2016 in Sierra Leone says that all tenantable property must be insured against fire. So if we borrow from those acts, and it also says that tenantable properties are defined as universities, people like places like clubs, nightclubs, when places like the hospitals, those are defined as tenantable property. And also it says that when you have building under construction above 3-story, must be insured against public liability. So if the government put those into law, they themselves will actually see the need to buy insurance services. But really, insurers have been acting in the like manner, and they've been honoring their obligation. But there are certain instances, like what Dr. Job was saying, where they have made mistakes, which we still are apologizing. But then, not only apologizing, but we're putting frameworks, and we're trying to improve the system. We're trying to make contribution to our various governments, our various industries, to say, let's change the way we think. Let's look at other regulation. Let's reform. Because when we look at some of the UK, for instance, in the UK Act, you see that you cannot just repudiate a claim based on a warranty that is not being observed by the insured person. Now, the UK Act will say, no, you need to set it aside and see if you can remedy some aspect of it, then we move on.
Now, Reverend, I think that's good, but I'm just going to connect it to that, and we do remind our viewers that they are following us on Teledal, and we are on all the social media handles as we speak live. You could watch, send us your contribution, comments, and then we do thank them for following us. And this show is proudly sponsored by Africell. And today in the studio, we've got, of course, Reverend Kuti Winston George, who is actually a seasoned insurer and also somebody who's very much acquainted with the Gambian insurance industry. Now, I'm going to switch to, of course, Dr. Bintu Job. Doctor, looking at the Gambian context, we have a challenge. And the challenge is majority of our policies make insurance, in general term, just saying your vehicle must be insured. It's not specifying third party. It's not specifying comprehensive. It's not specifying other classes within the vehicle or motor insurance covers like Blue Shield. Now, if you were to enhance the claim component of that insurance, what would you make mandatory for Gambian motorists?
No, but what an excellent question there is. Firstly, it's actually illegal to drive your car on the road without having an insurance in place. It's against the Road Traffic Act, saying that any motorist having to put their vehicle on the road must have an insurance in place. So at this point, we are urgent and then looking at inclusivity in our policy reforms. Again, as we've mentioned in our legislative reforms, it should be a mandatory requirement looking at a comprehensive covers for our vehicle holders, basically. Looking at the extent of damage and then to avoid any sort of under coverage. Because when these sort of incidents happen, you don't expect them to happen, do you? And then what then comes next, you don't know. So if the insured is not in the place to sort of reimburse themselves, the insurance should be able to do that, putting them back in that place. So looking at our claim strategy, we are looking at modifying them at this moment, really. We are also urging for the government collaboration with our industry standards, making sure that they put requirements for the insurers, really, again, regarding how these strategic claims procedures are being conducted. This will sort of motivate our insured. We are taking full responsibility at this moment. We are not blaming our insured for not even taking policies. They're driving their vehicles on the road without it, breaching the Road Traffic Act. But again, it's still the insurer's fault because we haven't showed them that trust for them to even insure their vehicles because they're thinking if there are incidences, we are going to be there for them. So at this point, really, we are looking at the mandatory sort of requirement from the government collaborations. And then from there, we are taking up those responsibilities, making sure that we are performing to expectations. And then, yeah, that will bring the customer expectation back in order. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Reverend Kuti, the Gambia is at the position where they're trying to work on their policies and, of course, the frameworks in enhancing the insurance portfolio of the country. I can tell you for free that the Insurance Association of the Gambia plus the Central Bank of the Gambia with the Minister of Finance, which we are currently being the supervisory board for the insurance industry. You have an experience in the sub-region. You have an experience in the Gambia. You have an experience in the UK. What are specific things that you would want to see Gambia get at? Because this is your home. And if you were to be, of course, reached out to say, look, we're working on this. Are you ready to help bring the best out of the things that you've experienced within the sub-region for the Gambia to become a model, even though we are coming last, it's better late than never?
Yeah, I think one of the first things that we should look at is to have a regulator ourselves from the insurance point of view. When you have a regulator who can regulate rather than being under the Central Bank of the Gambia, it's something else which we need to look at critically, and also look at our colleagues from the sub-region. The regulator is from the insurance sector. If you look at Nigeria, you'll see that they respect their regulator, and their regulator, whenever the regulator says something, all of them will carry out it. And one of the things that they do in terms of regulation, they make sure that there is no capital flight. The insurers come together. So one of the things that we'll be looking at, or we'll be wanting the Gambia to do, is to do co-insurance. Co-insurance before the risk goes out, so that you have more capacity within your country, you build more capacity, you retain more premiums, and also you encourage more insurance to operate locally. We would be looking at a situation wherein, I would like to say a situation wherein most of the marine insurance policies are taken from within this country rather than being provided for. We're looking for a situation wherein people who do construction take contractors all risk from this region. We're looking at a situation wherein insurers can have a pool, they form a pool. And when you form a pool, you build in capacity within your own country, and the industry will actually develop. And now we're getting more chartered insurance practitioners into the field. So we should be more comfortable. The regulator now should be more comfortable for us to move into a situation where we are able to regulate ourselves within the industry, and we have models from other countries that we can actually use within the Gambia to say, yes, we have our regulator that is an insurance man who knows the risk, who can actually take it on. So that is my own take for now.
So if Gambia asks you to come and help, you will come?
Yes, we see what consultancy. We are always here in the Gambia, and that is what we're saying. We're always willing to shed light, to bring expertise from our region and from the UK, from Sierra Leone, from Nigeria, and Ghana. All of them can help us to collaborate and also make things happen.
Thank you very much, Reverend Kuti George. Dr. Bintu, looking at the Gambia and having heard what Reverend just said, if you were given the opportunity to sit with the Minister of Finance, because insurance is also under the Ministry of Finance, what would you tell this minister to enhance? That's one of the questions, because I'm about to give another one, which is also looking at the classes of insurance. Majority of us in the Gambia, all we know is motor insurance, motor. Marine has been yanked from us. It's always CIF Banjul, and if you're importing, where are you importing from? Insurance is done there. Some countries are saying mandatorily you have to insure the local country where the product is coming to. Then what would you tell them in leveraging on other insurance? Because some of us, of recent, I understand something has gone out to the media where agricultural insurance have been taking to Senegal to insure for something that's to be done in the Gambia. So what would you tell the Minister of Finance? What would you tell the Gambian people that, look, these opportunities are there and they can leverage on it and get protected at the time of loss?
Thank you. It's brilliant to know at this point, really, we need institutional strengthening. We need a full regulatory body, a framework, even an institution solely regulating the insurance industry. That's key, really. If you look at other countries or other jurisdictions, in the UK, for example, we are having the Health and Safety Executive, the HSE, solely responsible for all insurance affairs in the UK. This isn't affiliated to any sort of other sectors, so it's purely basically just for risk management aspects. So that's key, having an institution really focusing more just on our insurance market and regulating us. And again, it is important and key factor is having more networking events. At this point, really, we need interdependency in terms of the insurance company cooperating and coming together at this moment.
When you say interdependence, I just want you to explain that a little bit more.
Yeah, thank you. Is to come together at this point and rely on each other, because we are able to sort of build a market in that way. It wouldn't be easy for one individual company to take that responsibility after what has already been in terms of our image and claim settlements. So it's coming together at this moment, having more networking events, seminars together, and see the way forward. That will be helpful. Okay.
Thank you very much, Dr. Job. We remind our viewers that they are watching Teledal, and this is the Fix Show. Today in the studio, we've got Reverend Kuti Winston George, of course, seasoned in Sora, a broker by international status, and of course, the CEO for Seaward a consultant. And also we've got Dr. Bintu Job Sanyang, a young Gambian lady based in the UK on brokerage and insurance underwriting manager at Seaward Consulting. And we are honored to have you here. Of course, Reverend Kuti George, Gambia, yes, we said is small, but we are being heard internationally. How often do you get insurance claims coming from the Gambia that are always settled, or what percentage of the claims that people ask are always a problem for you to facilitate claims payment for?
Well, I think the Gambia, as the industry has been underwriting carefully, and they've been brilliant in their underwriting practices. So they have a good underwriting strategy. They use guidelines from the reinsurance market. So we've had situation, but the loss ratio is minimal from this market, I must say, because I have worked as a reinsurer with Waikari.
Brilliant.
Yes, for over 10 years. There was only one claim. That was a factory, that the factory burnt down about some 3-4 years ago. Sometimes we usually have claims which relates to infidelity insurance, mostly that affects the banks. But apart from that, we've been having contractors all risk claims, but they are below 1% or 1% thereabout. So if you look at it, when you talk about insurance professionalism, Gambia, where I learned from, are really making sure that things are what they are supposed to be. So all what we need to do is to strengthen that part of our professional arm, and that is why we are here, to keep on updating it and keep on telling them that this is what is happening now.
Right.
So that we still keep the claims within the threshold, the loss ratio within the threshold.
Well, thank you very much, Reverend George. I mean, Dr. Bintu, I heard you talk about, I might have a little understanding what's an insured, but some people may not. Who is an insured? Why are they called insured? The difference between an insured, an insurer, and what is reinsurance? Because somebody asked this question, why can't I just straight away go to the reinsurer and insure? Because the concept is not being well understood. Or what would be the explanation given to such a layman?
Thank you for that question. So the contract actually, again, is between the insurer and the insured. So who is the insurer? The insurer is the company providing the comfort, providing the financial support, and then the insured is now the customer, the policyholder, the person who is actually asking for that assurance when there is an incident. So the contract is actually between this insurer and the insured. And the reinsurer actually is there to support the reinsurer, the insurer rather. Then the insured cannot speak to this reinsurer because they do not have a contract. So it is between the insurer and the insured in this instance.
Would you add to that?
Yes, basically she's 100% right. The only thing is that the reinsurer is actually acting as a shock absorber for the insurer. So when the insurer is going through difficulties, they will just come in to make right what the insurer has taken from the public. So behind the insurer, the backbone is the reinsurer. So there is no insurer that can operate in this country without having a reinsurance protection.
Good.
And most of the time, what policyholders must do is to find out if your insurers do have reinsurance protection. because whenever there is a claim, they are going to go back to the reinsurer. So if they are not reinsured, then obviously they're not doing the right thing. Yeah.
Now, Dr. Bintu, what are the new risks you are seeing to rise in this country nowadays? 2019, 2020, coming to day 2026. Of course, we've seen a rise in accident, I mean road accidents. And even though we've got new roads and better roads and bigger roads and all of that, a rise in them. Now, the question is, what are the other risks that you've seen that are coming up outside the scope of motor insurance coverages? Because there are risks that now are coming up.
Thank you for that question. So aside from accidental damage, we have seen fire, theft as well, burglary, people breaking into other people's car and stealing from them, personal belongings being stored in the car or being stolen. We've seen all of those aspects. So it is key at this moment, not just looking at the third-party coverage, because that isn't enough for our insured. At this moment, we are keen, encouraging more of them to take a wider coverage, looking at the third-party, even fire, burglary, theft, and all of our really important personal accident covers, really wide, more and inclusive into their packages. That'll be helpful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Job. Reverend Kuti, looking at the topic that we're dealing with today, the future of insurance, risk management, and economic resilience in West Africa, where do you see insurance going in the very near future?
Well, I think it's growing. Africa is rising, and I think insurance companies are making the move to collaborate, to share. And that is why we have companies, association like the West African Insurance Companies Association. We have the AIO. They are always meeting, coming up with solutions that will actually give credence to the products, the services that we sell. We're trying to make people aware about it. So we believe that in a not too distant future, the penetration rate will increase. At the moment, we know that it's difficult for you to get more than 5% penetration rate in Africa, except in South Africa where things are better. So we are moving towards a situation wherein we begin to lend ourselves grant capacity. For instance, the Waikari situation, Waikari was developed so that we can actually build capacity within the sub-region. And now Waikari seems to be the giant now in the African setting. We are moving up to 15% and 15. Number 15, when you talk about world reinsurers. So you see that Africa is rising. Before then, we only go to Munich Re, to Swiss Re to get covers. Now we have the Nigerian, we have reinsurance companies from Nigeria. That we have the Africa Re, for instance, that are well established in Africa. Continental Rees and all of these companies. So yes, we are building capacity, and in not too distant future, we will get where we want to get to. We want to get to 10% penetration rates, perhaps, or more than that.
Wow, thank you very much, Reverend George. I know, Binti, you're not a marketer, but you do have a lot of marketing skills, right? Now, if, for example, we're looking at the scope of West Africa as insurance risk rises up, the topic talks about risk mitigation, risk management. What are the other ways that you could advise the general public from the seaward perspective of managing risk? Because people always say insurance is in the business of paying claims. The word claim can only emanate if a risk crystallizes. So what would you tell them or ways and means of assisting in not only mitigating, but also managing risk when it exists?
Okay. Firstly, it starts with the risk awareness and the perceptions. That's really key. So risk management basically is a process of identifying, evaluating, and analyzing, then putting those control measures to sort of mitigate any potential sort of hazards coming through. Really, it is key in terms of the solution that we are providing, in terms of putting our customers first. So that's key, identifying what their needs are. That's part of our risk management process. Again, it is one thing to sort of have your insurance cover. It's another thing to sort of match what they need to sort of provide that exact cover to them. So at this point, we are looking at a strategic way of matching what is available on the market and to what our customers are wanting in terms of a proper coverage. So our risk management structures is tailored around what our customers basically are actually wanting a need for a cover. Okay.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Bintu Job Sanyang, and thank you very much, Reverend Kuti George. We're just going for a short break, and we do remind our viewers that they are following us at Teledal, and this is the Fix So. I am your host, Mohamed Jallo, and we do we would like to hear their opinions. We would like to hear, of course, their contributions to this. And once we do, we'll bring them to the table. And in the studio, of course, we have the lady and the gentleman here from Seaward Consulting, the United Kingdom, Freetown, of course, Sierra Leone, and the Gambia. So we will go for a short break, and we will be right back after this break.
We've got fantastic new social media bundles just for you. Here are your options.
50 megabytes for $10 is valid for 1 day.
Enjoy 400 megabytes for $40, valid for 7 days.
Get a massive 1,200 megabytes for $100 is only, valid for 7 days.
Simply dial *120# and press 3 to pick the social media bundle that suits you best. Subscribe now.
Why settle for one when you can talk with two? With the Africell TOK service. For just $99, you get a massive 1,200 minutes of talk time to share between your two favorite people. To activate, dial *135#, select your two Africell numbers, and you're locked in for a full month of conversations. Africell, connecting you to your peoples.
Thank you very much to all our viewers that are following us. Welcome back. Right after that short break. And like I said earlier on, the topic today is the future of insurance, risk management, and economic resilience in West Africa, Gambia, to be very specific. And in the studio, we've got Reverend Kuti George and Dr. Bintu Job Sanyang. We talked about a bit and pieces of things that could be offered within the industry. Now, my first question goes out to Reverend Kuti George. Seaward is in the UK, is in Sierra Leone, and is in the Gambia. Of course, you're now coming to the Gambia. How do you want us to reach out to you? How accessible are you to Gambians? To the Gambian industry and to Gambians in general? Because I do foresee you even doing a lot of consultancy, guidance, counseling, and things like that when it comes to insurance and financial advisory.
Okay, so Seaward has got Gambians who are leading this market. We have Dr. Bintu Job. We also have Sana Sane, who is also a media consultant. So one arm of Seaward also, we do design websites and other digital marketing. So Alex is here, and he can be reached at a Gambian number, and we definitely have a location which we normally say it's in Bakote. So we will definitely give you that geographical location if we decide even to change from that to modern area now where you think business can be. But we like to operate in the local situation, like you see yesterday in our meeting, we were serving the local food stuff. We like to integrate with the real nationals and get things done. So yes, we are here, and my numbers are all roaming. I have a Gambian number as well, so you can always get in touch.
Thank you very much. Dr. Bintu, what would you add to that? Because we do want to see, not only see what, but we want to see influx of financial advisories, counseling, guidance. And when I say this is key, because one of the problems that Gambians are encountering is we do travel around the world and we see good things, and we want to bring it back home. But sometimes we find it difficult in the way we assimilate, in the way we bring it back to get it incorporated. How do you intend for us to get the best practice from the countries that you guys are domiciled in? I mean, some of the things that have been done in the industry to make sure at least Gambians also I can build my house, have my electronic devices, have everything there. I still go to the insurance company and say, come on, I want to insure everything in my house. Can I insure my life? Can I insure? Because they'll ask you all these questions. So what would you do to bring those goodies to us?
Oh, thank you for that question. Actually, we have gone global. So we are all over the world. You can reach us. We are online. We are currently in the Gambia doing trainings and seminars. We are again in Freetown in Sierra Leone. We are in the UK. So basically, we have got a very tailored covered for all your needs at this moment. Structuring from the risk management angle, looking at the academic rigor, helping you through tailoring and narrowing down to your career pathways, providing that final assistance in terms of your careers. We've got different sort of inclusivity in all our packages, really. At this moment, we are kind of like we've angled ourselves, having more capacity. So diversity is really key for us. So we have got a lot of products and services at this point, and reaching out to us at this moment is easy because we've got our website being built already. We've got our email contacts. We are on Microsoft Teams. We've got our phone numbers all in there. You can reach us on WhatsApp as well. We are virtually available, really. We're working remotely wherever our customers are. We are ready for them. Thank you.
So what are you going to bring? What are you going to bring to Gambian, and when are you going to bring some of these things to the Gambians? Is it because you're reachable, or is it because, I mean, you could also bring it to the doorstep of Gambian? We're
already here, actually. So we're waiting on our clients at this moment, really. So reach out to us. Tell us what your problems are. Risk management is more of providing solution, actually. So it's what is driving us. So we are currently here, again, waiting on our clients as our doors are opened at this moment. So tell us what is your need at this moment, and we provide that.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Abintu. Reverend Judge, we are almost running out of time soon. But let's say, for example, you are giving the Gambia as a whole as your guest. Minister is there, other locals are there, the president is seated there. Kuti George is asked to give them an advice, asked to tell them what can the Gambia do to make it better. What would be those lines that you would like to speak on? Because you definitely want the standards out there that are higher, Gambia to also reach out.
Yeah, so I think the government I'll tell the government to make insurance compulsory, and also try to assist the regulator so that we get our own regulation. And when we have our regulation, they should support it. Because there's one thing to have a regulation, there's another thing to have support from the government. Because if the government says this, then it is done. Because if you say all shops should be insured against fire, that's a lot of money. And then remember that when you say shops should be insured against fire, when the premiums are charged,
Taxes paid.
Taxes paid, and the government is... So we are still losing money on the side, so the government should know that whenever you have economic activity, one thing that should follow is insurance. Yeah, without insurance, if you look at the number of people who use the ferry service on a daily basis, and then you want to ask what type of insurance we can put into it, how many people do have coverage for that? So how many people are covered by the providers of that ferry, and how many people know how to claim? So the government should actually assist insurers in putting in place systems where people can make claim, they know how to make claim, and when to make it.
Thank you very much, Reverend George. See, I'm just going to cut a portion of what he said. Know how to claim is our problem. The question I want to ask you is, which we are really running out of time now. If an accident occurs on the road in the United Kingdom, and the first thing the driver or something happened, when does insurance get involved?
Thank you for that question. That's really brilliant because that's really key. As soon as possible, because what happens is that if you drive off, you are breaching the law, the Road Traffic Act. So whether it's an incident, whether who is at fault or not, both of you have to park aside, put your hazard light on, and share insurance. That's key. And if one party is refusing to provide their insurer at that moment, providing their details, you have to call the police immediately and provide their registration number. So they have to comply with you. Both of you will be complying to each other, making sure that you've taken details. They've taken your name, your phone number, who your insurers are, your registration number, taken pictures, and then you can drive off. Then after that, you must notify your insurer. That's really key. Otherwise, you are breaching. It's part of your contract saying as soon as there is an incident, you have to notify us whether you're at fault or not. So these are procedures. So the insurers are aware within that 24 hours. Even if it's a midnight, they are operating remotely. So you can still notify them online. And they get back to you also as quickly as possible.
And when they get back to you, what's their first point of action? Because Gambia is well known for, oh yeah, I mean, I have insurance, but when you call them, I mean, or even when you get them, they're asking for police report first, they're asking for this. What happened? What expedites the process of claim?
Yeah, they are sympathizing with you at the first instance, really, because it's really traumatizing at that moment. It isn't just the car that is broken. Something has happened to you traumatically because you are part of it. Instead of taking time of you parked on that roadside, you are going somewhere anyway. If you sit at home, it wouldn't happen. So they were on the way going somewhere. That is kind of interrupted as well. So they're taking you through on the journey of trying to sort of figure out, are you okay in that instance? Okay, you are being destabilized. How then can we sort of help you? Do you need a courtesy car at this moment to sort of make your movement flexible around? They are looking at all of that. Okay, they're looking at your comfort at that moment. Are you been injured? What happened after that incident? What did you do? They want to take as much information as possible. Did you sleep along the roadside? Did you get rescued? Where was your car being towed somewhere? They want to get all that information being sorted. Then thereafter, they will ask you to just send them pictures. And they will ask you alternatives as well. How would you like your claim to be settled? Do you want to send your car? We will pick up your car to our approved garage to get it repaired. Or do you want a car to be taken to your own repairers? You send us the invoices and we take care of that. they wouldn't ask for any sort of police report at all.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow. Even at the point of subrogation?
No.
Okay. Thank you so much. Reverend, I'm going to take this as your last question, and you could use it as an opportunity to speak to Gambia, to West Africa, the insurance industry, to the world as well. You as a consultant, you as of course, a broker, and also an insurer, because you have to be an insurer first. If you are to take this as the most powerful time you've got to send out a message out there to the world, under your capacity as the Chief Executive Officer of SeaWorld Consulting, what would you sell? What are you telling Gambians? And again, like I said, we do sincerely thank you for coming to the Fix Show, for coming to Teledal, and for gracing this opportunity where you share knowledge, experience, expertise, guideline, and advice to the industry and to the general public in the Gambia. And I do thank you so much for coming to the Fix.
Yeah, what I would say is that we need integrity. We need to create our products around professionalism. We need to be committed, which is what SeaWorld Consultancy stands for. We need to bring all our experience to the table as professionals. And when we say we're doing something, let us do it. When we provide service, let us also have the third eye. Third eye, it's not always you go by the rules, but you try to fix things like the Fix is all about. So we as SeaWorld Consultancy, we don't just advise. We see that things are being done and we have practical solutions. We provide real results. So we stay with you, we see that you have the result before we move on. So it's not all about providing or doing products or giving out products and services, but making sure that these products and services, they do meet the required needs. That is what I would tell the world today. Let us build institutions that are credible. Let us build on professionalism. And let us also work on ethics and the law. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Reverend Kuti George, and thank you for coming to the Fixed. And like I said, again, as you exit, of course, language, do you like to talk to Gambian or whoever your audience are right now, because people are watching. And this is Dr. Binti Job, a young Gambian entrepreneur, a young Gambian underwriter. Of course, you've done quite a bit in industry. You worked here, you worked abroad. What would you tell your sisterly, brotherly families in West Africa, in the Gambia? And again, we do thank you for coming to the Fix Show, and we thank you for coming to Teledal, and we are deeply honored to share with your knowledge that you've got to share with us, your knowledge, your expertise, your experience, guideline, and counseling to help the industry grow and to help protect the Gambian, those that are out there, because everything we do is risk. And thank you so much for coming to the Fix.
Thank you for having me as well on this show. I'm actually urging government collaboration at this moment, really. We need to strengthen our regulatory reform. That's key at this moment. We are looking at building our institutions at this point. We are taking full responsibility again at this point. I would like to urge all our viewers, our customers to just bear in mind we are ready to work together again. At this point, we are ready for reconciliation. We've learned our mistakes of the past, and we are ready to make amends. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Binti Job Sanyang, of course, a consultant from SeaWorld. We do thank you for coming to the Fix. Well, viewers, we've just come to the end of the show. We thank all of you for following us on all our social media handles. We do thank our promoters and, of course, the sponsors behind the show, AfriCell. Then also the technical team that are in the control room. Of course, we thank the guests coming from all the way from the UK to share with us their knowledge, experience, and try to bring back home something good. Today, the show has actually shared some bits of pieces of people can get knowledge when it comes to insurance. And I am your host, Mohamed Jallo on the Fix. So I give you another appointment for next week, Friday, for another fantastic episode of The Fix. We thank you for being part of this show today. Thank you.
Scan the QR code and register on My AfriCell app, and boom, you get 1 GB free instantly. Just scan,
Download, register, and enjoy. Check your balance, browse bundles, send and receive money instantly, pay bills in seconds, anytime, anywhere.